Here we are in the void, everyone.
Here we are again. The threat continues. I was okay if I brought Jack Skellington.
Yeah. He's cool.
Thanks.
I like him. I really enjoy the total lack of emotion on your face.
Look, so much botched plastic surgery can only do so much. Look, I can emote.
Yeah. So, we've been watching Futurama.
Hulu Rama, which I think is an important distinction, because this sure as shit ain't Futurama.
I don't know what to call it. I still think of it as a half season, right?
Yeah.
But depending on how you score it, it could be like season... What are we on, 12 now or something?
Yeah, right. That fucking nightmare. I mean, you saw the promo. What about an option for 20 episodes? Maybe a movie. So, yeah, it's half a season.
Yeah, they're still threatening us with that. And if it's anything like what we've seen so far, I'm not too excited.
I've got some comprehensive notes. It immediately opens with them just drawing NFTs and then bashing us over the fucking head with how NFTs work. Look, at least it led into the Bender subplot, which was effectively that one Quidditch scene from Escape to El Dorado, but I enjoyed the idea of the world, you know, we got to see another part of Mexico.
It's weird, right? Because there are little aspects of that episode that I actually did like the stuff in Mexico. And Bender's always had kind of a make it up as you go, it doesn't need to be consistent sort of backstory, right?
Yeah, no, it works fine.
Which, you know, kind of adds to the humor. One day he's like literally made in a factory, and he went to bending school by just like uploading a bunch of knowledge into his head in 5 seconds.
Then he came from Tijuana fully.
Then he came from Tijuana, and now it's he's from like a Mayan village or something.
Yeah, fuck it.
It kind of butts heads with the whole NFT stuff. It feels like it shouldn't even be there. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, we got a, you know, sort of neat little side adventure. It's not like the most interesting thing in the universe, but I like some of the robot designs, you know? I like the gods. I like the bead computers and like that Turing machine thing. That was cool. It's just... Here come the NFTs to also they got to be in the episode too.
Just derail it into one of the most boring fucking heist setups I've ever seen. I like a good heist game, movie, genre, whatever, but Jesus Christ, I 3D printed a model of the fucking museum physically into the blockchain. No, that's too creative for them.
It's over so quickly, you almost forget that it even happens. We gotta heist the NFT. They gotta get to the joke where it doesn't do anything.
The third joke about how that's not how that works.
Blockchain, eh? That is so interesting.
I've been kind of turning over in my head like what makes for a good sort of topical episode. This has been something that's bothered me since I did that video on the reboot. When is it bad to cover topical episodes? And I think I landed on, well, I guess the big one is that it's just not that funny. They don't have any NFT jokes that I haven't heard on like Twitter backwash and whatever meme forum, you know, for like the occasional...
The front page of Reddit.
Oh god. Please do not bring up Reddit in my presence.
I only go there to post unsavory things, I assure you. I am no Redditoid.
Either way, a lack of comedic exaggeration. That's what I wanted to get at. I recall these old episodes where they take the issue that they're discussing and they'd blow it up into this large, more sci-fi concept, right?
Yeah, like literally dropping in a planet's worth of ice into the ocean every time and then making an allegory for an abusive father who beats his kids.
See,
that's
funny. But here in the NFT episode, it's just NFTs. Aren't they dumb? And that's about it.
Arguably, they went for exaggeration with the COVID episode, you know, like when they compared their Wernstrom's and the professor's fucking different versions, and he had like literal microchips in it, and then they find out that the cure is Jamaican pseudoscience bullshit. Basically, even though they do blow it up, COVID was like dead 3 days into it being a worldwide pandemic. Reality was funnier than fiction could ever hope to be. We had celebrities singing communism chants in their naked $1 million bathtubs.
Oh my god.
How could an animated sitcom 5 years later ever hope to like top that?
Well, not by just describing the issue. Some of the only jokes I actually found funny is when The professor's like, of course the vaccine needs microchips in it. That's how the space lasers know how to shoot them. And it was like the little glimmer of maybe a better episode, right? That little tiny hope of like, oh, hey, you can actually make this funny. But then the rest of the episode is dumb.
I still think even if they were masters of the craft and the COVID episode was the funniest shit, I still think there might be a COVID. Because again, we were just drowning in that fucking pit for so long. But then, if your jokes are good enough, I'll forget that I was even upset and we'll have a giggle. But there were no giggles to be had.
My thing that I always go back to is like, well, they did topical before, right?
Yeah.
They had a global warming episode. Like, that could have been contentious right there. And I think that episode is pretty good, all things considered.
Yeah, no, that was a great episode. Like, again, as a dumb kid, I don't know what global warming is, especially not in this fucking country. It's always hot.
The jokes are funny enough, and the situation is... what they do and how they deal with it is bizarre enough that it's funny. Like, I like their resolution of Earth is moved farther away from the sun, right? So the day is slightly longer forever.
And that's the only consequence too. There's no negatives. It's just fuck it, an extra week.
Like it's completely stupid, and that's why it's funny.
That wouldn't fuck with the rotation or anything. Look, it might just be a bug. Maybe they feel like they can't write something new if they don't safety blanket in something old. In fact, I've now just convinced myself that's what this has been. They're too scared the new shit will get them cancelled again. So it's wrap it up in a blanket of nostalgia. That way, if the new jokes suck, you can point and click at the old stuff.
Charitably, I could imagine that they chose to put some old jokes back in as like a nod to the audience. But it's less of a nod and more like a multiple skull fracture. It's too frequent and it's too heavy.
They grab the back of your fucking head and just ream it through. They just want to skull fuck you with old references. Why not just play the old episodes? Like, there are two ways someone's going to experience this joke. They're going to start from episode 1 and walk their way up, or they're going to start with this season and not fucking get it, or not find it funny. And then if they go back and watch the old ones, they'll go, wait, this is that joke from before, but it's funny, or I'm ruined to it now because I've been beaten over the fucking skull with it. Even in the voice acting department, they don't sound like they're really about it, despite being so pleased that the season's back. Even John DiMaggio, who is normally fantastic, even he sounds like he's a wee bit tired.
They are all 20 years older than they used to be, I'll say that.
Yeah, but Disenchantment came out only a few years earlier, and they sounded so full of life. Yet, put them back into the area they came from, and they couldn't give a shit.
It only takes 2 years to crush a man.
Yeah, that's...
How sad.
That's fair. My neck does not turn on a full axis.
You've got neck problems there, buddy.
Scoliosis is a common problem down under.
Here's the thing, right, is 4 seasons of a show is actually a very good run.
Fucking amazing.
Right? Like,
especially back in the 90s? If you weren't The Simpsons, you were lasting more than a season? Holy shit, high praise.
I get that their sister show is The Simpsons, but you have to understand that that is a complete anomaly. There are so few shows out there that go on to season fucking 30 or whatever the hell they're on.
Yeah, like, what shows did go on that far?
And have stayed good. None of them? Maybe South Park, depending on who you ask. There are more bad episodes of Futurama now than there are good ones at this point.
Oh god, it's the Halo analogy all over again. Alright, time for Squid Games. Oh, I'm sorry.
The Squid Game episode.
Squid Games. Squid Games?
Quids Game.
What the fuck did they call it?
Quids Game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
But they're not British.
Oh yeah, is that what that's from? Quid?
You'd think so.
They haven't been anal-vored by the EU yet? I don't know how your wacky country works.
Oh, Peter Griffin.
What'd you think of the Squid Game episode of Futurama?
I thought it was just as dead on arrival as NFTs. Ah yes, an episode on Squid Games. Also 4 years after it was fucking relevant.
Oh boy. I tell you, this is worse than the time I rebooted the Futurama episodes. Worst mistake of my life.
Oh, Peter, I told you not to reboot it with NFTs.
Peter, I told you not to reboot that NFT episode.
Oh, hold on, Lois. That's the front door. Squid Games from Squid Games. How did you get here?
Oh my god, Squid Games?
Yeah, so the episode opens up. It's Fry's birthday, and he doesn't want a surprise party. Of course, who gives a fuck about that? There's cake to be had, so everyone Fry is close friends with, close enough to go to a birthday party with, shows up. We're talking such classics as the robot fight announcer, the two cockroaches from across the way, the fortune-telling machine,
I think she's in like 4 episodes total in the original run.
Fry's bestest and closest friend, Barbados Slim. I don't think they've ever shared a fucking conversation.
I know Smitty and Earl show up.
He worked with Earl during that Minority Report episode, and Smitty's beaten him up a few times. So that's it's a closer association than for Fry to have Barbados Slim invited.
Oh, Hattie's there as well. Maybe Petunia. The old, like, nasty ladies. They're apparently Fry's best friend. Hey, she was invested in the company at one point. That counts, right? She's Fry's best friend now.
She was their landlord too.
That's true. It's also very obvious that they're doing it just because they need bodies. Because they're doing a Squid Game parody and they need a bunch of people to kill off. So okay, here's the plot. Right? So all these people, all these randoms show up to Fry's birthday party on the ship and they crash land on some planet and like Fry gets DNA spit on the floor and the planet turns into his old house again cuz it's actually like it's a flashback episode, everyone.
Hooray.
We're flashing back to Fry's family. You know, honestly, it just kind of feels like we gotta do this episode. We gotta have the Fry sentimentality with his parents episode.
I see your point, because we don't actually spend any time with those kids other than Gedgie, because Gedgie was already set up in a prior episode.
He fulfilled his role in that episode, which makes it very weird that, yeah, by the way, he shows back up in the Squid Game episode. Apparently, him and Fry were best friends at one point, when they were like 9. Okay. Did you have to make this connection? You know what I mean? He served his purpose just fine as a one-off character in that episode. Did he really have to come back to have like this super deep lore with Fry of like, oh yeah, they secretly knew each other as kids. They were best friends at one point. Continuing with the plot, because this episode is actually pretty plot heavy, now that I think about it. A bunch of evil aliens show up, and they're like a stereotype, they wear the mask. And they're like evil and they bet on who's gonna die. It's like I guess the Hunger Games or...
No, it's Squid Games. There's a bunch of people with masks that are betting on it.
Yeah, but do they have like the animal pervert mask thing going on?
Yeah.
Oh, they do? Okay. Well, you know what? I guess that is the better analogy then.
So it is a 1-for-1 of Squid Games.
Anyway, so it's a replica of his house from 1999, and it's a replica of his birthday party when he was 9 and he's traumatized, and that's like the through line of the whole episode, right? Is that he's having a bad time on his birthday. Why? Because all his friends think he's cheating. As the episode goes on, spoilers, his parents are the ones helping him cheat because like, okay, Fry's not so good at the games, we gotta build up his confidence. Okay.
And so even when his parents are nice, they're still bad people. Hooray! No one's changed.
Yeah. But, however, there was one thing that really just kind of stuck in my throat about that. And as the episode goes on, you can see that they're visibly getting pissed off as Fry keeps winning. They keep accusing him of cheating. Now, if I were a parent and I were helping my kid cheat, like if those accusations were actually true, but my son didn't know about it, wouldn't you stop at some point? Just let them win like some, you know? Just have them win like 1 or 2. You can dispel the myth of cheating there.
But I mean, like, yeah, by the end of it, you can see all the kids are pissed. And then you literally, there's no subtlety with the final one. She literally spins the mat in front of them all.
Like, one of the kids is actively looking. He's just staring in their direction. How do you not notice at that point and, like, blame mom and dad?
I guess that's why they blame Fry. Because he's a dumb kid. They're dumb kids. They don't know that Fry isn't in on it.
I just don't buy the sentiment of it that much when it seems more like, without Fry knowing, we're gonna like piss his friends off. We're gonna make them hate our kid. Oh yeah. I don't buy it. I'm sorry. It's dumb.
Yeah, it's pretty Fucking bizarre. They never fight back. That's so weird. They're getting killed left and right, and no one actually takes a stand once.
I mean, they're like evil and they're floating, you know? Can you float? No, I don't think so.
No, but I'm pretty sure most of those people have guns, especially the police officers.
The police didn't bring their guns with them. The box can bring people back to life. The box can delete their guns. They can strip their weapons like in Gary's mod. I thought for sure the twist was going to be, oh yeah, we've been like teleporting them to safety. They haven't actually died. No, they die. They're dead.
Yeah, we can bring people back. The box can do that. Fuck you.
Yeah, the box brings them back to life. It hasn't been teleporting them or whatever. They're actually dying. Bit wacky, but all right. The rest of the episode is just like, it's just Squid Game, you know?
Yeah.
I really don't think it's too notable. I'll say this. I like watching cartoon characters murder each other. That's always fun to me. But personal biases aside, the rest of the episode is not terribly notable. There's one moment in it where it's like Leela starts crying of like, Fry, I'm gonna die. Please help me cheat so I can win.
The crying's back.
Yeah, I am of the opinion that if you're gonna cry, if you're gonna get real emotional and sentimental in your episode of TV, you better fucking earn it, right? That's a trump card you just don't pull out unless you really build up to it. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
Like, okay, yes, sure. It's a life or death scenario. Blah, 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 blah. I get it. But just use a lighter touch.
But it's because they've done it too many times that in these situations where it's supposedly earned or valid, it just feels not earned. They've done too many fake cries.
Yeah. Well, is that everything we had to say about the Squid Game episode?
Yeah.
Which I thought I was gonna hate, honestly.
Oh, yeah. I was just meh.
Yeah, it's meh. Which is kind of my reaction to pretty much all of these. None of them are like, okay, maybe Prince and the Product is actually that terrible. But, and okay, maybe the COVID episode as well. But,
and also the ending of the Impossible Stream.
And also the Impossible Stream. But most of these are just kind of fine. They don't make me feel much of anything.
Yeah, sorry if you're tuning in for a scathing, like, ass dragging of the next season, but we watched this thing at least twice, and on our repeated reviews, we became more gentler to them. But it's still, I think the worst you get is a blind apathy.
See, I really wonder if that's a case of, like, I'm numb, you know?
Yeah.
I just don't have the energy to get, like, really pissed off. At the end of the day, it's just like, oh, I didn't like this episode of TV. It's not the end of the world. It just doesn't have that kind of incensing force in me where it makes me go...
Watch out, you'll give yourself a seizure.
I'm having a seizure right now.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anyway, this episode was meh. Episode 3. What is episode 3? Oh, it's the TEMP episode, right? I'm trying to just go off of memory here. So the crew are on a delivery and someone has mysteriously replaced Fry without anyone knowing. Ooh, who is this guy and how did he take over Fry's life? Well, as it turns out, he's Fry's temp, and he slowly takes over Fry's life out of jealousy and revenge for the crew stranding him.
Now, I actually did really enjoy the temp agency joke, the fact that they're literally just all in the Ziploc bags on a fucking rotunda. That was very year 3000 of them, like actually using the setting.
Little glimmers of like, oh, hey.
The year 3000.
Yeah, you're using the setting. It's funny. I actually like that.
Same with later in the episode when the guy's shaving, and it's literally just like a magic marker on the glass, but it also shaves. I liked episode 3. It was a short, fun little thing. I wouldn't say I loved it, but I enjoyed my time with it.
I mean, at least they had like a point to it.
Yeah.
Like everything we've said about like, oh hey, guys, have some confidence in your ability to tell a new story that isn't just a political topic of the day, except it's 2 years too late. Or, hey, we're doing this classic episode again, but worse. At least this episode has something new. And what do you know? It was one of the best episodes of the reboot. I feel like it would be such a minimal change to make these episodes worth your time. Just don't do politics and don't do we're bringing this back. Just tell new stories. That's all I want. Even if the jokes aren't that funny, at least it would be a major improvement.
Yeah, we're in the year 3000. Shit can get weird. I mean, there is an entire planet for a soft drink. Look how wacky that was. Look at the jokes write themselves. What if a soft drink had a planet and weird creatures made the soft drink? Bam, look at that. Fucking classic shit. If you can mend the setting to your will, it will write the story and jokes for you.
That's what makes it so weird that we keep seeing the same, like, 10 to 30 characters over and over. It doesn't sound like a lot, but stretched over 12 seasons, it's like, okay, the setting is the entirety of New York, and the larger setting is the universe. I also got that from that blog. But it is a good point, and that's why I'm stealing it.
I mean, if we need aliens that are bad, it's always the Omicronians.
Oh my god, yeah.
There's never another evil alien race.
Which, that happens in episode 3. They gotta deliver a cake. Guess who they're delivering it to? It's the Omicronians again. You know, the jokes weren't even that terrible. The one that sticks with me is, if it pleases our God, and then he's just like hanging up in the rafters. He's like, yeah, it does. Go for it.
Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot, actually.
It's a bit of a gray area, right? There are things I like, and there are things I don't. They had a good joke, but there are other alien races, you know? A lot of the notes I have for episode 3 are just, hey, they brought this back.
Yeah, my notes are basically just I enjoyed it on what was new.
They got the Omicronians, Snoo, the Blob guy, Calculon, I guess the Robot Mafia. I don't even remember that happening. Axe, like ask you a question. Travel-sized filing cabinet reference. I guess that was one of the jokes they made. I'm already in my pajamas. Fulu, TikTok. You know, when I lay it out like this, this episode actually sounds really unfunny, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I think my mind tends to pave over the stuff that's just, like, completely forgettable. So if you can, I guess, tune that stuff out, but it is part of the episode, which is why it's
so much of the episode.
It's frustrating, you know, because it feels like there's actually a really good episode buried in the reality of this kind of just fine and okay one. It could be so much more, but it's just because they just can't help themselves. They just can't help but bring some of this stuff back and say, hey, we're doing that again. Like Bender. Did Bender have a spice rack before? I know he's a chef, but did he have a spice rack specifically?
I don't believe so. You said, does this character have a spice rack? And I'm remembering either Marge Simpson's various spice racks or Francine Smith's. And then I remember going through Lenny's spice rack, and she's like, "What the hell is oregano?"
What the hell is oregano?
Hey, Homer.
Lenny!
Marge, you're gonna have to leave now.
Marge!
You're upsetting. Marge, you're upsetting the oregano, Marge.
You're upsetting the oregano, Marge.
Hi, I'm Chris O'Neill from ONING.
Hi, it's me, Chris O'Neill from ONING. No, my wife.
Yeah, see, we got new jokes. Did you watch any plays?
Yeah, now we're doing reference humor.
Yeah, but when we do it, it's cute.
It seems today that all you see
is violence and movies
and sex on TV.
All right, well, I guess I don't have too much more to say about episode 3. It was decent,
No,
but it could have been better.
yeah,
Please remove your
your references.
I didn't need to see that.
Give me here, episode 4. What the fuck was this one about?
Okay, I looked at my notes, so I remembered. I want to see how long it takes you.
Oh god, please no. Is this the one where Ligala has a friend?
No.
Oh, thank Christ. Okay, there's only 2 episodes I can think of, unless there's further in my notes. It's either the Leela has a friend episode, or it's the fashion episode.
No, it's neither of those.
Damn it. Shit, what else is there? No, I can't.
He's giving up. Okay, so it's the The like cockroach fighting episode.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. The running of the roaches or whatever that. The running of the buggalo, yeah.
It's the fucking Bugalo Matador episode, which is literally a damn near shot-for-shot retread of when The Simpsons did it 20 fucking years ago.
Is this an episode I would have seen? If it's past season 8, the answer is no.
No, it's like it's between 13 and 18, I believe.
Oh my god.
This is the same thing, but with Bender, because Bender goes, oh wow, I can have sex if I become a matador.
And then they actually really love getting murdered.
But most of all, we have a deep love of buffalo fighting.
Other than that, this episode was just naming shit. The criticism I had before about naming jokes as they happen, this is the worst one for it. Saying that chick's name twice, oh, for fuck's sake.
I don't know. This episode was just boring. That is my entire notes on this episode. It's boring.
It's barely using the setting outside of the empty brains at the end.
I mean, okay, I'll say this, actually. That I don't like that they're bringing back the Bugalo again. It's just another one of those episodes where it's like, hey, we did this once.
They re-explained to us that the Wongs own the entire hemisphere worth of it. Then they mention his Betsy and how Amy has it. It just, I can feel my fucking liver turning into calcium as we speak.
Oh.
I don't know what's going to be more fucking painful, getting through these kind of episodes or the inevitable kidney rock I'm about to shit out. There we go, you can put that on your fucking box for the last episode. A good episode of Modern Futurama doesn't give me a kidney stone.
I guess I wouldn't mind as much if they did something with it.
But they really don't. It was just like them moving between scenes and naming shit. It's hard to retrace this episode.
I'm gonna have to look at my notes. I'm actually forgetting a lot of stuff.
Nothing happens. I shit you not. They run with the Bugalo. They have like the 30-second long joke where Bender says her name, and she says her name. Then Bender becomes a Bugalo fighter because he sees the girl again. She trains him for 10, 20 seconds. He fights one Bugalo, wins, feels bad. They can talk. 2 separate scenes where they're sitting at the dining room table eating, saying they can talk. No, they can't. Then they all come back out at the end, and Bender dresses one of them, says, no, they can talk. And then they say, yes, we can talk. But wait, did he fucking fall asleep? You son of a bitch. If I have to sit through this shit, so do you.
I'm sorry.
Can't tell if that's the dementia, the old age, or just the episode.
This episode just has that kind of effect on me. All right, next episode.
Now, is this where Leela has friends?
Yes. Which, great description, but yeah, that's literally what pops into my head. You know, IMDb says that the NFT episode is the least best of this 10-episode run, but I disagree. I think this one was easily the most boring and dumb.
Oh, God, it was. Leela doesn't have friends. And so she then is chatting with a chatbot, just like in that episode of The Simpsons where Lisa was on a boy talk hotline that cost $9.99 a minute.
Simpsons did it!
Simpsons did it.
Simpsons did it.
But that's actually what this is. Except the boy on the other end turns out to be real, except not really. So Leela doesn't have friends. So she joins a book club with Amy, the doctor with tits, one of the mutants, because they're allowed above ground now, and La Barbara.
And a suspiciously random lady who has never appeared before.
Who Leela immediately gets along with. And then she dies.
Kind of horrifically, by the way. Which, like, yeah, okay, the twist is that was the chatbot, and it was all a convoluted setup to bring them all together through a death or whatever the fuck. Okay, but she fucking drowns like motherfucking Augustus Gloop falling into the chocolate river. She, like, absorbs all the fucking, like, her body retains water. It's kind of unsettling, honestly. Lol, she's drowning. LOL. Oh, okay, all right. This is a weird point. Was it weird when they just like started taking their shoes off and stomping on a bunch of grapes and giggling?
Yeah.
Was that weird?
It definitely felt like this episode of The Writer's Barely Disguised Fetish.
Is this episode secretly fetish bait? We got feet, and we got a girl drowning to death. The 2 kinks.
Oh, great. Foot.
Oh, yeah. Can't say that. I'm gonna get demonetized.
Oh, yeah. Shit, sorry.
I won't make my $5 from this video.
Foot lickers.
I call them foot friends. That's my euphemism.
But friends, yeah, right. You know how you know how last season was all in on the Leela armpit gag. This one's all about foot.
Okay. What else? Oh yeah, the beginning of this episode is like a Fire Fest parody.
Oh, right. I forgot they did Fire Festival.
Real actual question to those of you in the audience. Does anyone know about that? Except for like the most online Twitter users.
Unless you're terminally online, which you are if you're watching this shit, actually. So, have you actually encountered Fire Festival shit in the wild?
I mean, is this one of those things they like covered on CNN?
Who watches CNN religiously and then tunes into this streaming platform of the latest season of New Futurama?
That's got to be a very thin crossover.
Yeah, there's a niche.
Well, okay. Real question. Who are these episodes for? Who is the target audience? It can only be Futurama fans, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, who else is clicking on the new season on a like another streaming platform?
I mean, that's exactly the thing. Is like, if they're making these only for fans, why do you have to re-explain so much of this stuff?
Well, because there might be new people.
No.
Yeah, in which case, why can't those new people go back and watch the old shit? Again, this isn't The Simpsons. You're not tuning in 30 seasons too late. You've got 4 seasons and some movies.
Futurama did not have nearly as long of a golden era as Simpsons did.
Oh, Christ, no.
Half or less, depending on how you count. I mean, I guess I can understand where some of the, like, canceled before our time stuff comes from, but, like, I don't know.
Not every 5 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know. 4 seasons is a fine run, man.
You did good.
Not that I hate everything that came after that, but yeah, a lot of crying in this episode. They have a whole fake funeral, and my god, does it last forever.
Oh my god, so much.
And, final thing I want to say is, like, when the chatbot reveals herself in the TV, they kick the TV to death. You know she's not the TV, right? She's just on the screen.
Yeah, but they're wine mums now, so they're fucking dumb as shit. They've got the IQ of a room temperature.
Great. Fry is now, like, a toddler. He's not just dim-witted.
He's regressing further into, like, literally a toddler. Like, he shows, Nibbler how to do noughts and crosses. That's what we call tic-tac-toe here. I feel like I should add that. And he, like, draws it like shit, and then at the beginning of the NFT episode, he's drawing shitty NFTs with the kids, and Amy literally comments on them drawing like shit. Like, oh, look at how much fun everyone's having. And, like, it's very degrading. Or even, Children of a Lesser Bog. Yeah, it turns out he's just sucking on some old candy, but everyone is just assumes Fry's sucking on his jacket like a binky, and that's a cute character trait, so that must mean that he shits himself.
I shit myself.
Yeah, episode 6?
Episode 6.
Yeah.
Attack of the Clothes.
Yes, I quite enjoyed this episode, period. This episode from start to finish felt like a classic adventure.
It felt like an adventure.
Oh, yeah.
Not just a waste of time.
I do say, if you're going to watch New Futurama, watch this one. No, this doesn't feel like the classic stuff. But it was just a solid episode, like a solid little adventure. I wouldn't say I love it, but I did like it. Basically, the professor invents a moth that can create lovely clothing, but suddenly becomes a massive fashion magnet. From there, Zoidberg feels shit about himself because he can't afford it, and makes the point that what's the point of all this cool clothing if no one can afford it? The professor then makes mass-produced versions, everyone's happy. Where is all the rubbish going? It's going through some wormhole the professor doesn't know or care. It turns out it's our planet in the future. It's a fun episode, the jokes were there, and adventure was actually fucking had.
Oh, the jokes are good, huh? Name one.
The professor having a new pet animal every other day, and he just puts them in the wormhole thing because they're not fashionable each day. Like watching him demonstrate it with the elephant was the best one, where you just watch this fucking elephant go like clockwise until it sucks in. That was good shit.
One thing I do want to ask, and while I generally enjoyed this episode more than pretty much anything else in this half season, I found out later that it's supposed to be like a commentary of something called fast fashion, which I've never heard of before. Now, that means that technically this episode could be considered political and topical.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum. If we knew more about fast fashion, would it bother you more? Because I feel like a lot of my enjoyment comes from the fact that I know almost nothing about what they're talking about. So I can kind of just enjoy it as an adventure that has nothing to do with anything. Which, okay, I guess you could argue that a lot of their best political episodes kind of do that. It's divorced enough from the actual issue that you can kind of just enjoy the episode for the episode, rather than because it's making some kind of specific commentary or whatever. You know, it's got a cool, like, professor machine.
I just love watching the professor make shit.
He just explains something, you know? Yeah, exactly. I just like when he makes stuff.
Professor exposition is always the best thing ever. I just love hearing the professor talk, period. He's got an enrapturing voice.
The professor's just having a fun old time in this one. He's inventing some cool stuff. Of the batch, I think it is the best. I just am wondering out loud, I guess, how much of my enjoyment of this was based on the fact that I don't really know what fast fashion is, and I don't know who the like supermodel lady they brought on is. Like, I could imagine, imagine they brought on, like, I don't know, the fucking Rock or something, and you'd roll your eyes and go like, of course they gotta do an episode with this guy, like, whatever. But I don't know who this lady is, so I can kind of just get into the episode and what it's going for.
Well, see, I do understand fast fashion. I don't know who that lady was. And I felt even with my knowledge, it didn't really add too much to the humor. I mean, the show itself pretty much bangs you on the head with the fact that it's like, oh, look, he's throwing it all away, and now it's literally going to cover us. So, like, I don't know who that cameo woman is, but I did enjoy her performance. So
I thought she did a fine job.
it was quite nice. What the fuck was episode 7 even about?
Raging against the vaccine?
No.
Okay. Okay. Guess.
All my notes say that.
No. Don't look at notes. You have to guess.
Oh, fuck me, I can't remember this garbage anymore. Fucking the only two I wasn't sure of in order, it was literally the fucking Leela has a friend and the fashion episode.
Just start naming plots. Maybe you'll come across it. There's only 4 episodes left, so you probably get it on accident.
Is this the Beanie Baby episode?
No.
Is this the anthology episode?
No.
Fuck.
There's one you're forgetting, and it's definitely not the last one, right? So.
Fuck. Why are you torturing me in this way?
I guess I'm proving a point that even though we only watched 10 of these little bastards, they're completely hard to remember. Okay, one word. Coffee.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Right, yeah, the episode that just... it's Prometheus, but with coffee.
Oh my god.
Dead ass. Have you seen Prometheus? More accurately, the first 5 minutes?
No.
Well, tough dick, because that's the episode.
Here's the quick plot rundown, right? Hermes' dad is on his deathbed. He's dying, which immediately, I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of an interesting idea. They show up to his plantation. Every crop is burned. He goes and talks to his dad, and he's mad at him, and he dies. Pretty unceremoniously. They don't get some kind of...
They don't give a shit, neither do we.
Anyway, Hermes digs a hole, and he discovers an alien spaceship powered by coffee beans, and then he has some kind of DMT vision, and then Hermes is like, oh my god, this coffee's awesome, I gotta start up the farm again, and that leads him to abandoning his family just like his father abandoned him, and that's why he was mad at him, because of abandonment, and he's gonna do it again. Lol. I don't know why they can't just like move there with him. Or why he can't just fly there every morning if he cares so much.
Literally no reason he abandons them. There's no reason given as to why they can't just help out on the farm like everyone else already fucking is.
And again, you guys have spaceships, you can just fly there. But whatever. They got to make a point about how he's like obsessed with the coffee, and it's driving him to obsession. So he's got to separate himself from his family.
Yeah, that's the thing. They fly to Jamaica, ignoring the flying part. There are tubes that cost 5 cents that'll take you across the world. It's so weird that they don't use the tubes more often, but I get it. The Planet Express ship is as much of a character as the rest of the team, so...
Anyway, he like starts the world's smallest espresso machine back up. Now he's like Starbucks. He starts dumb Starbucks, and that's the Planet Express building. Because he turns it into Planet Espresso. It can barely hold an espresso.
And Bender is 40% espresso machine.
I think they like do make that exact joke or some shit.
He's sitting there roasting on a rotisserie and then says he's 40% some bullshit.
Rotisserie. Yeah.
Everyone loves this coffee and it keeps everyone awake, and like Zoidberg and Hermes have been working for a week straight and they don't feel at all tired. But somehow Fry is tired despite drinking the coffee right in front of us.
I am stunned they did not do a callback to that episode where he drinks 300 coffees. That is such an obvious pull, and they didn't make it.
They must have forgotten. There's no fucking way they deliberately had that restraint. They haven't had it so far. Oh my god. And then, look, if you like the occasional runaway joke about Hermes being a Rastafarian accountant, so, you know, he always had weed somewhere, but they named it differently. It's so fucking bad in this one. The first 5 minutes of this episode is just like making weed allegories.
Best in the Blue Mountains. What'd you think he was growing?
Weed.
Yeah, I mean, they're so unsubtle about it now. It was cute when it was just like a sly little nod.
I didn't know as a kid that when Bender was popular on TV, I did not realize Dwight was smoking a fat blunt. I thought that was a cigar. So when he said the kids have gotten into your cigars, he's like, that's not a cigar and it's not mine.
And it's not mine.
I legitimately thought he meant like it was a big cigarette or something.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a fat blunt. Now I do. Shut the fuck up. Look, I didn't hate the idea of this episode.
I did.
Well, no, okay, well, look, I didn't hate the idea of the premise, alright? But all the jokes are literally repeating or naming the same joke they've already said in that episode again.
The entire episode is just, whoa. Isn't coffee wonderful, everyone? Isn't it this miracle drug? Fuck you think this is, Reddit? Get this shit out of my TV show. There's also, like, Hermes, like, makes up with his dad because he reincarnates as a coffee plant and he tells him that it's actually evil.
He fucking does too. And then Zoidberg kills him and displays his torso. That is something I did like. I liked seeing the front entryway for Planet Express. We don't use that area very often.
You hear that, folks? 10 out of 10.
Oh, let's not get crazy. It was alright.
I'm just not big on the premise. I feel like, oh, an episode about how coffee is epic. It's really lame as a joke. I'm sorry. It does not do it for me. I was kind of into the stuff with, like, Hermes and his dad. Like, that kind of did it for me, but there's not too much of it.
That's what I meant for the premise.
Well, that's not the premise. The premise is coffee. Wow! I mean, it's just that the coffee is evil, and they did it to enslave humanity.
But it's not evil, though.
Huh?
They say it is, but they don't show it being evil.
No, at the very end, they're like, ha 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 ha!
I know they say that, but, like, we don't see anything from that. It's just like there's Starbucks everywhere. People still live their lives, they just drink coffee.
That's not evil. They pump this drug into everyone. They got like total domination over the human race. That's not evil.
Back to Reddit with you.
No, Reddit is liking the coffee. Don't accuse me of this. I'll kill you.
Unlikely.
Oh my god, your neck is so fucked up. You need to get that looked at, Brad.
Anyway, episode 8.
Yeah. Wait, which one was this again? Oh yeah,
this is the one with the Beanie Babies.
Yeah. Which, by the way, very topical. Beanie Babies.
Yeah.
Very topical.
The Beanie Baby craze of the late 80s to early 90s. Wow.
This kind of brings it back to my question of like, who is this for? Because they're swinging from too topical of like NFTs to like Beanie Babies.
The most recent joke I can recall about Beanie Babies was when I was 13 and a skit from Robot Chicken where a guy has a bunch of Beanie Babies and then he uses them into like a fold-out blanket to not get stabbed. That was it. 13 years ago. But hey, you know, 40 years later, right for an episode of Futurama, because kids on their streaming platform know what Beanie Babies are.
I guess the target audience for all of these episodes are 40-year-olds. There are no Zoomers watching Futurama. They don't know what that is. They only like Skibbity Toilet now.
Oh, no, I'm not mentioning it. Fuck you. There'll be no Skibbity Biden here.
Skibbity Biden!
Damn it.
Skibbity Biden! Trump is using Hitler's language! Skibbity!
Amy's kids are spoilt brats, so to make them not spoilt, they go and hang out at the orphanarium for a bit. Amy then finds out that they have beanie babies, and so she becomes a beanie baby hoarder. And then about near the end of the episode, for like 2 seconds, they briefly say, oh yeah, the beanie babies stuffing is actually little eggs. And then they hatch and they try and choke a few people out, and then they hug the alpha one and it kills the egg.
They somehow know which one the alpha is.
Well, the alpha does say it's the alpha. It also is the only one that speaks.
Does it?
Cuddle formation. Forward. Hug.
Yeah,
I
it
guess.
says...
Okay. Alright, I'll concede. Not that I care. Not that I've been defeated by this stupid episode. I don't give a shit. I'm not seething.
He's molding before my very
I'm
eyes.
not molding.
Cope, see mold.
I'm not coping.
Yeah, no, I fucking hate Kif's kids, period.
Oh, damn, this
Wait.
episode was about to get really good for a second. They're just non-characters, you know?
They're shitty impression voices done of their parents.
That's the weird part, is they don't sound like kids. You can tell that they just, and understandably so, I think, they didn't want to hire, like, a different actor. They kind of have just their core group at this point. They didn't want to fuck with that. And you know what? Okay, fair enough. But they just sound like Amy and Kif. Amy is doing, like, kind of a voice.
And Kif's is just doing his exasperated.
Are these domestic bath salts? What are we, bankrupt?
They just sound exactly the same.
If you've ever heard Kif go, well, that's the voice he does.
Skibbity Biden.
I guess I don't like Skibbity Biden.
I guess I don't like Skibbity Biden. Zap Brannigan made me listen to Skibbity Biden. 10-hour remix.
That would make Kif listen to Skibbity Biden. He'd think it was funny.
Kif, I just found the most awesome remix on YouTube.
What is it, Captain?
It's called Skibbity Biden.
No!
Deploy it to the men, everyone. Everyone must hear Skibbity Biden.
And what should I do with your Five Nights at Freddy's lore, sir?
Give it to the homeless YouTuber over there. He needs more ad revenue. Squirt it on some homeless YouTuber with dry reviews.
For fuck's sake. See, when we do it, it's great.
Where's my $1 million to make this episode?
Yeah, right? Fuck's sake. Zap feels so deflated.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He will, like, show up and go, hi, I'm Zap. Funny sex joke. And then he leaves.
He's not even half the sexual predator he used to be. Your mic is cutting out horribly, so it just looks like I gave you a seizure.
Yeah, use it wisely. I mean, my chest does hurt.
We need the chestburster scene where Skibbity Biden comes out of your chest.
That alone will get you demonetized. I will ensure it. Yeah, there's something surreal about mentioning Skibbity Biden within a fucking Gmod space. Why did we put a skull on a milk crate? Why didn't we fucking grab the civilian model we have and make Skibbity Toilet? We could have gotten that sweet Zoomer audience.
That sweet Skibbity Biden audience.
This episode was definitely the worst for the characters don't so much react as they just say a line and then leave.
What are we talking about?
Skibbity Biden, but also this episode of Futurama with the Beanie Babies. The crying is fucking ridiculous. Stop it. I hate it.
Oh yeah, there is some in this. I thought it was a little weird that Amy, the whole episode, she is like ruthless about collecting these things because she's a rich bitch and that's what she's gonna do.
And then she doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, she has a sudden change of heart, like instantly, like, oh, I'm a monster. It's like,
yeah,
okay.
she gets called out for being a monster and doesn't react. It's when she's at home alone, she's like, I know where it is now. Oh no, I'm a bad person.
And then this dirty homeless child with an extra ear, this freak is like, no, you can keep your toy, actually. Keep it. I don't give a fuck. Oh, okay.
No, it's important for some grown-up reason, and then Amy's over it, kind of.
It's obvious to me that this episode is just one of those like, hey, oh, they're doing a thing. We just gotta let them play it out. I've never liked when the show has excessive scenes dedicated to kids just talking to each other, or like kid television, like that Yo Leela Leela episode. It's just a bunch of like, you might as well just be straight up watching Yo Gabba Gabba, which, you know, no hate on them. They had like a Cornelius song in one of their episodes. That's pretty fucking red-pilled.
Into the Night Garden is a fantastic show, even if it does have a character that literally goes, Mecca Packa.
Nothing will ever beat Nanoland, though.
I have no idea what the fuck that is. Wait a minute, that's that curse shit.
Put Nanoland on the screen right now.
No, I was trying to describe Baba is You, and I called it that shit.
That is not the same. That's not even in the same genre.
Now, my co-host here is a large fan of anthology episodes.
Oh, we're skipping ahead already, huh? We hate the Beanie Baby
do you
episode
have
that
anything
much.
to say?
All right, you know what? I don't have any notes. I lied. I have nothing. Let's move on. That fucking anthology episode. I have never liked that they feel this like obligation to do these because I feel like they never turn out well. Well, okay, there are some exceptions. I do like the reincarnation episode where they go and like change up all those art styles. And there were actual jokes about the art style they're using. Like the black and white one, they're like, oh, we discovered a new color, you know? Okay, all right. Flip side is something like FUTURAMA, which I remember out of curiosity, I looked up like it was an IMDb. It was some like top 25 list. And they put FUTURAMA at like number 14 or some shit. And I'm like, you guys okay? That episode sucks.
But he is Gur, devourer of fish.
What if they were animals? What if Fry and Leela were fish and they had fish sex with each other because they're fish? Wow, what a good idea for an episode.
But Zoidberg ate Scruffy.
Okay.
Yeah. You weren't chomping at the bit for Brr, the devourer of fish? I was. But it's spawn mating season. It's a bear holiday.
This episode is like a bunch of mystery novels. Again, who is this for? When is the last time anyone thought about Nancy Drew or the Hardy Boys? Outside of that one time where they make that joke about them in like the Brains episode. But that was like 20 years ago.
Who other than me is a fan of Tintin, the comics, and new Futurama?
I mean, I have so little to say about it. The funniest thing about this episode to me is that Zoidberg's name in one of them is Chud, and that made me laugh.
Hey, it's our portly pal, Chud. Why
Chud.
just call me your
We're one line removed from someone actually being called cuck.
Do it, Futurama.
Do it.
Call someone a cuck. I want to see it.
Someone calls the professor a cuck.
No. See, they'd have to do it to Hermes because Hermes is the one getting cucked.
Oh, Hermes is far gone. We need to have Wernstrom show up and call Professor a cuck in front of Mom and take Igna away from him because remember, that's his kid.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but like, he already cucked the professor in Bender's game.
Cuck him again.
Oh.
The cuckening can arrive twice.
I like some of the art style changes. I feel like the background artists got to have a bit of fun. They got let out of the whipping chamber for a brief moment to express themselves in this episode that sucks.
Let's do a quick PSA. Background artists, we love you. You do not get anywhere near enough fucking credit as you do. Occasionally someone might go, oh, I like that scene, I'll make it my wallpaper. But that's about it.
Just look at how long it took us to do this background. It took like 5 minutes. Where's my medal? I'll just take this time to continue my thoughts on anthologies. I've never much cared for them. It just sort of feels like giving up. What if they were toys? What if they were fish? You know, it's like,
Yeah.
I don't come here to watch this stuff. What if they were Saturday morning cartoons, you know?
But what if Bender was 60 feet tall?
At least those kind of had the context of like a what if, you know, in a universe where you can achieve anything. I guess the point is, oh, you can stretch your creativity by doing something outside of the canon you want to establish. All right.
A slight impulse turns her into a mass murderer.
That is the best segment in that episode, by the way.
Oh, hands down, it's just fucking fun.
Yeah, I guess I don't have anything else to say. They're just, it's whatever. They call, Leela Lolly. Her name's Lolly. Haha, lol. Does that have anything to do with Nancy Drew or whatever the fuck? It reminds me of in Paper Mario, the little star is named Twink. Oh my god.
Oh, they didn't know. They couldn't have known. They couldn't have known. But yeah, plot and connecting threads, meh. I will say the Tintin story was nice as a homage to Tintin. You hit it pretty bang on the novel.
Now if only the episode was good.
Yeah.
Why is it that the, you know, like the animators and the voice actors, in any show that ever turns sour, they turn in their work just fine, but the writers is I guess that's like the hardest thing to get right, you know? Like at least when it's art, you have like model sheets you can follow.
And a voice actor's work is always on display, so
yeah,
a single season of phoning it in could easily destroy your career.
Yeah, their job is to be that voice, you know? So if they can't do it, I mean, they're just gonna get someone else. But everything hinges on the writing, you know? I mean, it is kind of nebulous though. Like you can tell if writing's good or not just by your emotional reaction to it, but that doesn't make it any easier to write a good episode. Like I genuinely would not want to be in their position. I don't think I could do any better. And I don't mean that just because I'm not a writer. I would not want to be tasked with coming up with episodes for this, because it's like, okay, well, you want to make these fans happy, right? I feel like no matter what I did, there's just going to be the two factions of people who are like, this is great, and you guys are just judging it, and the other faction, like assholes like me, who are like, I'm going to make a 40-minute video on why you suck. I feel like writing is one of those things that you just have to play by ear. Like either you get it or you don't. And all the criticism in the world is not going to change that.
You have to either be a sadist or a masochist to like write professionally.
Daddy has to hit you sometimes, okay?
Yeah, you won't learn otherwise.
That's called mercy. These kids are so spoiled these days. Episode 10, otherwise.
No, actually, this is both the review and naming the synopsis. The first half of this episode is literally meanwhile. That's the gag as well.
Oh, see, you're getting ahead of yourself. That is like 1/5 of the episode. This episode has no plot.
Oh, right, I forgot.
So, at the start of it, the cup holder burns the ship down, which is actually not that bad of a joke. I kind of like it. Oh, also the can opener is there. Bender's arch nemesis, and it cuts him up in the same way. I'm sure he starts singing again, because, of course, he has to. So they bury the ship in an alternate universe or something. Like that was kind of weird, actually. The alternate universe juice. They're just gonna put the ship in there?
Yeah, it was interdimensional.
Cum.
Yeah, it's timeline cum.
Yeah, which came from the writers coming all over the screen.
Yeah, twice.
Okay, so after that, Fry literally flashes back to old episodes and then like passes out. Just like fucking Matrix Part 4. They just intercut old episodes in there. In my head, I thought that there was going to be a point to this, right? That was my foolish assumption, is that this was going to like add up to a coherent story where like, oh, they're flashing back between old episodes, because they do go back to meanwhile. They literally play it again, but just different shit happens.
Fry just happens to remember he's in meanwhile.
Oh, fuck, what happens after that? Shit.
Fry starts seeing the Planet Express ship around as a ghost ship.
Yes.
Everyone says he's crazy until it turns out there really is a ghost ship. And so
they gotta go back to the graveyard where they buried it. And also, Zap Brannigan is there to shoot at them for no reason.
Apparently the dupe says ghost ships are scary, so no going near ship graveyards.
Yeah. Okay.
Then they play the same joke from Wild Green Yonder with the windmill, but this
hold on,
defense.
We're getting too far ahead again. We forgot that the professor makes a new ship, and that he has an entire bedroom dedicated to the can opener, and that takes up like 5 minutes.
And then it gets into a sword and gunfight with Bender.
And then he uses different lengths of wire on the ship.
The different lengths of wire are back not once, not twice, but possibly
three
thrice.
times.
And her wires were all the right lengths.
They fucking make the same joke 3 times.
You should see the wire I used. All the latest lengths.
That's 3 lengths of wire.
3!
Did I ever tell you about all the different lengths of wire
Oh my god. I'm going to die in real life.
Seriously, why that line? Why is that your favorite reference? The fucking wires. Why?
It was just a cute little joke from the pilot.
It wasn't even a joke. He's just like, look, here's some wires I used.
No. See, it is a joke, right? The joke is that, oh, here's my spaceship. Here's some wires I used, right? It's downplaying the ship.
But I get that, but it's still barely a joke in the way these guys are sucking it off.
Oh, the way they do it isn't a joke. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, no, they walk on stage and go, wires.
Wires!
Now it's been treated like the holy grail of execution.
Kind of a perfect summation of how I feel about them doing all the same shit over and over. We're bringing back the same characters and plots and all this shit. I came up with this conspiracy theory, right? That they're intentionally self-referencing, and they're working it into the plot, right? Fry is literally flashbacking and like walking through old episodes of the show, a la Family Guy back to the pilot, right? And that's why they're referencing themselves so much. It's supposed to be a cute homage, which, again, I would disagree with that, but whatever. But no, they don't do that. They'd waste time talking about fucking can openers, and Bender kills him and then goes to sleep or whatever.
And then the ghost shit comes back.
And then they get to the ghost graveyard, yeah, and then Zap and Leela just blow each other up, I guess. I thought it was very weird that only Kif and Zap are on the entire Nimbus, I guess. It's just no one else is on that ship.
They're almost always the only two guys on the ship. Occasionally there's like 3 other dickheads manning some of the stations we see, but the Nimbus seems to almost always be an empty vessel.
And the fact that this is like their series finale, this could be the end.
Oh.
This could be what they end on, and it's just nonsense.
Which, by the way, the Planet Express ship blows up like every other fucking episode. Why are you, A, doing this plot line where you're trying to do an in memoriam? And if you're going to, why are you wasting it on, like, the cup holders on backwards? And that's what's completely fucked the ship forever.
Honestly, that was maybe one of the only aspects of the episode I was okay with.
Oh, I hate it because of the fact that during the in memoriam, they had the nuts to mention that, oh, they had good episodes, but some of the later ones, probably the Comedy Central ones or the movies, were shit. It's like, go fuck yourself.
She saw us through lots of great adventures.
And a few mediocre ones.
Honestly, some of those 3-part adventures were kind of sloppy.
I like that Zoidberg specifically name drops the anthology 3-parters as being kind of shitty. It's like, okay, then don't do them. I agree, they suck. You don't have to do them. There's no gun to your head.
Maybe there is a gun to their fucking head.
You will make the anthology episode, and you will be happy.
After, like, edging our balls for 2 more seasons for no reason, Leela and Fry finally get married, but this time drawn out and by Brannigan, and then they blow up.
They blow up and it doesn't matter.
They didn't get married. They blew up an alternate universe version of themselves. And then they jerked themselves off for 5 minutes by talking about how it seemed like the Planet Express ship was done for, but it's made of stronger stuff, and it won't go softly into that good night. And then the episode ends. The fuck?
This episode was a big wet fart, especially of an ending. I genuinely can't believe this is what they chose to go out on. All the Way Down was way better than this, and that episode is quite flawed. I don't know if I brought this up, but I may have come off a little more positive than I meant to, because in watching it again, it has flaws. It's still arguably the best of maybe all of these. Maybe. But it's really light on good jokes, and they stray away a lot more from that, like, bottle episode feel premise. Oh, we're just kind of sitting around the coffee table and discussing simulation theory. Like, that was a good idea, but they kind of derail from that a lot more than I'd like to. I just wish it had more. It's a decent episode, but there's like a great episode trapped inside it. This episode, though, is just... I didn't hate it as much as, like, the Impossible Stream, but it's one of those, like, episodes that's, like, it has 5 plots in it. At first, it's about redoing Meanwhile and burying the Planet Express ship. And then it's about getting a new ship and something about, like, again, Bender stabs the can opener. Again, it's not like that stuff is dreadful per se, but it's just so weird that they dedicate so much time of what I would imagine is their goodbye episode to this stuff, when it's just so, like, meh.
That's what pisses me off, is that this one is like trying to be the definitive send-off episode, and yet it just feels like they're jerking it in their face and going, see, this is the end, and it's your fault, viewer. We didn't get a better chance, and it's on you.
I would not go quite that far, but I would say that this episode sucked balls. It really rotated my testicles.
I'm saying that in combination with the Impossible Stream, is that that's what this has felt like. This felt like the Impossible Stream was edging, this was the climax.
I would at least say all that about the Impossible Stream. That episode fucking sucks. Dick!
Dick.
Dick.
Who's been drawing? Who's been drawing dicks?
Dicks.
So yeah, what did you think of the season as a whole? I mean, I'm more positive the second time around than I was the first.
I would say it's generally a little better than the previous 10,
Oh yeah.
but not much better than any of the other Futurama offerings.
I think that's what my takeaway has been, is that with like one exception, this isn't egregious and terrible, but it's also not good either. At best, it's slightly above passable. And is that why Futurama has to come back? To be slightly above passable?
It's just kind of fine.
Not why I come to Futurama of all things. Why this IP?
Right. I mean, we can go on for 3 hours as we just did and yap infinitely, but I think just bottom line, these episodes are just kind of boring. They're fine. Whatever. And I just don't come to Futurama for that. I can remember a time, and those episodes still exist, where the writing was snappier and more clever, and I liked the characters more, and the world made, well, I guess not more sense, but it was at least entertaining, right? And now it just feels like Futurama is doomed to play out itself over and over, but just less funny and interesting, and I just don't care for that.
No, it's honestly a fate worse than pre-death.
In a word, unnecessary. There was no reason for them to bring this back. I struggle to think of even one episode that was so worth my time that it justified the season as a whole. Listen, here's the thing. I generally think I would err on the side of more art being in existence than less. And at the end of the day, yes, you can just not watch it. They'll never be able to take the old episodes away from you. But I feel like I've seen all this shit before, but it was better, so why bother? Some were okay, some more so than others. Now that it's here, would I unexist it? I suppose not. But if this were a world where they didn't exist yet, I would not greenlight it.
Yeah, my closing thoughts are that I pretty much agree with you on that. My word would be bland. The first half of the season, actually bad. This second half, meh. And I don't come to Futurama for meh.
I don't come to anything for meh.
Oh no, but especially something as inspiringly different as Futurama. I said before that I go to The Simpsons for comedy, and if there was a good story, hey, very nice. But Futurama I always came to for a story and some good jokes. And there is neither here. This whole season has felt like a tie-in video game. It uses the IP, it plays the same noises, but there's nothing new about it or anything that could stand on its own if it didn't have that sticker on the box. And with that said, I'm going to go dig out my copy of the Futurama video game and see how that holds up. But that's for another time. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. This didn't need to exist.
All right, well,
All right.
Any last... Oh my god.
No, thanks for having me. Fuck it, I'm just gonna sit on this as well. Oh no, I'm going out on my terms, motherfucker.